Greetings and salutations, everyone. It's time for another video, Road Most Followed here on youtube.com/SamusGarobo. Hope you're enjoying these walkthrough quests. I know I'm enjoying recording them as well as hosting them over on the Twitch channel and trying to recording them on the Twitch channel and doing my best to kind of find a middle ground between the live stream and taping for the videos. So, I think I've wiggled it down to, I want to go ahead and clean out the quest here in the Anvilfire Inn for you guys. There's a couple of them, 2 level 8s and I believe a level 6. So we're going to go ahead and run through this level 6 quest just because, I think it's a 6 anyway. Yeah, Bounty Hunter. Just to like complete the video series. But normally I would do this closer to level. Alright, summon our hireling. What's kind of tricky about this quest is there's a lot of not quest in this quest. So what I mean is there's a lot of like optionals and side paths that you can go down that are not required to do, but you don't necessarily think about that every time because they are it's kind of laid out in a weird way. So what I'll do is I'll start with the bare bone version of the quest, and then we'll turn around and we'll run back through on and take a look at some of the options here. There's traps on the other side of this this door. To be perfectly honest, what I like to do is get them going and then just web there. Usually, I probably will not cast Firewall in this quest because I would not have Firewall at this level when I do this quest, so I'll try not to cast any 4th level spells there.
The cave opens up to reveal a shallow pool with several passages leading from the room.
Another kind of interesting thing is that you can stand on top of this fire. That's right, folks. This fire goes all the way up. Why is that barrel not... That explosive barrel does not explode. Alright, so... Streamlined version of this quest. Go over here. Now, the easiest way to get through this quest is to take a big breath and run across. There's lots of traps, but if you keep a reasonable pace, you'll be fine. Now, the slightly slower and a little bit safer way to do this quest is that the trap boxes are around, so that should be that cold trap section. Then you gotta climb back up and jump back down. See what I mean? So normally I just gather my bravery and I just run across and try to be really quick about it. But sometimes you need to just keep going. Also, there's quite a few trap boxes. I think there's one down here even too. Yep. There's quite a few trap boxes in this quest. Can we jump back up here? Oh, I've never tried that before. No, I didn't think so. I suspect... I think that's all of them. So again, normally I would just run through here. If I feel like I was in over my head, I would just jump backwards into the water, and then these dogs would try to get us. But it's not too bad. And then there's a small group of guys on either side. and 2 levers. You do not have to kill the bad guys to pull the levers. So like if you have a hireling that's doing a good job of sneaking around pulling levers, they can do that for you. But obviously it's not super common. Now, this is probably one of the more adult parts of Dungeons and Dragons Online, for those of you who are interested. This young lady was a slave. Claim all of his possessions, including her. So we're gonna let her go. If you do not let her go, she attacks you, and you just have to put her down. It's pretty terrible. All right. So now we got the sweet iron key. And that's honestly all we need to finish the quest, is that key right there. Normally, if I left all these traps on, we would not try running back. We would have jumped down and swam back. But since we did disable them, it's easy enough to jump backwards. And then here is the door that we need that iron key for. This is the quote-unquote infight. This chest over here is the chest to complete the quest. But you gotta take out this red name first. And then in this chest is the signet. All right, so that's pretty quick, right? Now, let's go add in some of these optionals. So if you're in a hurry for experience, you can go through there. This first optional, you have a couple of tiers to this. First of all, you can just go get the shrine open, which the shrine happens to be right this direction. We'll discuss that question in just a minute. You know what? We can just answer it now. So the chat, specifically Beaumop, says, is Dungeons and Dragons Online dead? I would say very much no. In the last 2 years, we've had 2 really great expansions come out, both Ravenloft and Sharn. They're both really awesome. If you haven't checked them out, at least through... I have not gotten there yet on this video series, but you can go back and watch either my old stream, or you can watch several other people's doing this other streams. This is locked, right? Yeah. So you have to be able to pick this lock to be able to do this optional. A lot of the content has been really good. They're in fact releasing a new race. I would imagine we'll get it next month sometime, probably right around the time of the anniversary. So there's quite a bit going on. A lot of content's coming out. I think they even... Now don't quote me, because I haven't read the producer's letter yet, but I believe they're even about to hand us a 64-bit client.
Troll banners and standards adorn this section of the cave.
Alright, so behind these 2 locked doors... So, long story short, the game is alive and well. Behind these 2 locked doors are like a handful of trolls and as well as a little bit of an optional experience and a treasure chest. Remember when we first did this optional, we could not quite DPS down those trolls as easily, and we had pulled them back to this ladder and ranged them down. It was a long time ago. Then there's one other optional portion of this quest. It's up around these rocks. It took me a really long time to realize that this was an optional, to be honest. That this was not a necessary part of the quest. And it's because this key takes you to the treasure room. So we haven't had our big payoff treasure yet, right? For doing the quest. So to get that big payoff treasure chest, you have to go up this way. So for the longest time, I thought, oh, we have to go this way. But you don't. You don't have to go this way. You just have to do that first part that I listed earlier.
This room, strong odors from the fungi and the waterfall overwhelm your sense of smell.
I wonder what that'd be like. As a person who doesn't have a sense of smell, it's really... I don't understand. Alright, so now we have the key to get the special treasure chest. But inside this waterfall, you'll see this little batch of grass right here. Some of my highlight. You can swim through that grass and swim up, and there's a treasure chest in here. Now, if you have the ability, I believe you can disarm the traps in this room. Maybe you can't. Thought you could. No, I guess not. Guess I remembered wrong. So what you want to do is you want to sit in this in the water, swim as close to the chest as you can, and open it inside the water. Swim down just a little bit underneath this rock, back up through the grass, and you're good to go. So again, when you're level 8 doing this quest, it's a lot of extra nonsense. But you do get Conquest, you do get Ingenious. I thought there was one more trap box to disable, but perhaps not. I guess we already got Ingenious, we just didn't get the breakable bonus yet. But in this room there's a bunch of breakables as well as your special treasure chest.
However, the chest might hold something of value.
And that's our big special reward chest. So that's one of the reasons why I don't really worry about getting that. As opposed, like, it was 12 minutes to get our 7,000 experience, or we could have gotten, I don't know, probably like 4,000 experience in 3 minutes. So that's Bounty Hunter. Again, it's a really good one for level 6 if you need it. Then the next one over here that we're going to do, again in the Anvilfire Inn, is Stromvauld's Mind. This one can be a little bit of a complicated quest, not because the quest is hard, but because you have to pick up NPCs along the way, like hard to see NPCs. You're finding dead bodies, essentially. Missing engineers.
As the door opens, you glimpse a pair of rust monsters skittering.
Also, I don't recommend you pick up any gems. Gems tend to spawn monsters around the quest area. Also, what are you going to do with a whole bunch of uncut rubies? Alright. There's a thing that popped out of the ground behind us, a scorpion. We'll do that in a minute. Alright, so if we were not doing optionals, we would just grab this lever and leave. But since we are doing optionals,
Hear a faint echo of the
we need
cave
to
behind you.
destroy the elementals here. So I didn't die yet. What is going on? And we're going to switch back to the all-fire
The
mode
rusty
here.
lever groans in protest as the door slides open.
Behind this door lies
Another
a bunch of
circular
elementals.
corridor.
And if I remember correctly, they don't wake up until you're touching this chest. Did we just get a Vorpal quarterstaff? Brell's favorite thing. We did. And it's deadly. I'm most amused now. Alright, there we go. 4 elementals gives you an extra 918 experience. Not bad. Again, all these things I'd recommend highly if you have like a 2-person team. One person does the quest, and Team B does the optionals and or breakables. Alright, so once you go into this room, once you open this door and you walk through, you need to be tabbing around consistently to see if you can find these corpses. Oh, you know what? I think the uncut rubies and stuff is actually an optional. Let me pick one of them up to
Grow in
check.
abundance here, but the area's natural beauty is marred by the oppressive.
Yeah, I think it is actually. Yeah, you gotta get... So we ran past one. There's another one. So that one may actually not be that hard of a quest to complete. I thinking about another
Intense heat emanates from the furnace.
quest here. I forgot that those were... I hate when they don't list the optionals and stuff up there. Alright, trap box along the way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw a corpse up here. But see how hard that is to, like... If you weren't tabbing around for it, you wouldn't have found that, probably. Very difficult to see. Okay, so we still need 4 more. We cover 4 more engineers here. Shrines behind... First shrine behind this door. This quest actually has quite a bit of shrines.
The path slopes downward. You feel the
I don't know if
air
they
blowing
expected this
towards
quest
the
to
point in
be
front of you.
much more mana intensive than some of the other ones. I guess maybe because they're full of drow.
Rush at you from the campfires.
I'm not sure why they put quite so many shrines in this quest. There are a bunch.
The area below is crossed by tracks used to transport
Okay.
supplies.
Okay. Apparently had a crate
Wearing
targeted
drow
still.
move amongst the crates now.
Okay. There's a diamond. So we would have gone past 4 4 of the 5 already. I don't know if they're always in that same spot, but
Flare violently as elementals take shape from flames.
elementals are now behind us. That's what that flavor text said. There's a couple of elementals up there. Or they will have spawned back there, I guess, when you go back up there. Alright. But always tab around the area you're in. Make sure that you cleaned up all the quest required bits. There's also a trap box right there somewhere, right? Yeah. It is terrible that when you have to like go back through to search the quest for a necessary experience item. In this case, corpse. Here's another shrine. So there's an abundance of shrines in this quest.
This cavern is cooler and more
Alright,
spacious.
up here along the top,
With the furnaces and
you'll notice a
furnaces,
treasure chest and a drow.
stalagmites.
Again, ranged. The power of ranged is coming into clear focus here. Hi. I know we can shoot through ropes. I've seen it before. Alright, there's another guy. Okay. Looks clean. Tabbing around for nonsense. There's a quest nonsense there. A couple of crates. Another corpse down there. So there's 2 more down there that we can basically see. And there's a guy shooting us over here. Alright, with that, put on our Featherfall item and we will jump over. Attempt to loot our bonus chest. Just leash all over the place like a crazy person. It should be locked. Alrighty. And then it should just be a matter of making our way to those corpses. Keep in mind, if you see one that's like in front of a furnace like this, it probably means it's trapped. And then the other was inside this door in here, if I remember correctly. And then there's usually one last one near the end of the quest. We're not that far from the end of the quest now, but one in the next like section here. The next section is opened by that lever. No, I said we're just... Oh, no, there's one over here. I stand corrected. Again, see, we would have had to back up. Oh, it's probably trapped. Yep. And our hireling is going to stand in the trap like a real hero. See what I mean, though? Whenever there's a corpse in front of one of those furnaces, you got to be careful for the traps. Alright. So now, you would go, but Samius, we've achieved all the quest objectives. I know, it's the age of a long time ago where they didn't tell you all the quest objectives you needed to have. You just had to keep walking through the quest for no reason. So usually there's another corpse like here-ish or here-ish.
Smoke prevents you from seeing its contents.
Then there's the last one, the ruby. So it would have been all 10. We would have gotten these had I not got confused with a different quest.
Upon closer inspection, you see a gaunt and disheveled dwarf huddled in a cage.
So there we go. Quest is done. So that's Stormvauld's mine. We have one more out here to do in the Anvilfire Inn, Stormcleave Outpost. This one is a little bit long, but with a little bit of de-dooring action and or being pretty quick, you can greatly reduce the amount of time that you take in this quest. There's a lot of different paths to get from A to B to C. Normally I would just go straight, but I've recently kind of been educated by my friend Beef that it might be better, could be better, to proceed this direction instead. It's a little bit more of a direct angle to where we want to go. And
swarming nest of kobolds as wolves patrol the area.
You gotta clear like a wave of kobolds. No thanks. Which may actually not be such a big deal most of the time. Clear this Fear Reaper before we pick up some extra stacks that we don't want. And then you still got to go down here. If you go this direction, just part of the reason I don't like going this way is I don't like going down and having to deal with the wolves. But it might be physically a little bit faster than going through the Minotaurs. Is there another dog? Nope. There'll be another batch of dogs right over here.
Appears to have caught an unfortunate traveler on his way to the outpost.
There's lots and lots of trash out here in this big, open, almost wilderness-like area of the quest before you actually get to what I consider the actual quest, which is right here. It's where a lot of, again, it's just like trash to clean up out here. But a lot of the monsters are back there, and you can. That's a good spot to get your onslaught if you're into that kind of thing. Again, if you have a second team member that can take care of themselves or has their own hireling, it's a good option. Team A goes and does the quest, and Team B works on clearing optionals and getting extra XP. Alright, so you have a bunch of different things that you have to gather and a bunch of different things you have to pull to do this quest. So, you gotta light all these pillars. When you light the pillars, mephits are gonna spawn, and you'll notice it doesn't go all the way up until you kill both mephits that spawn. And it goes all the way up. Now you're done. But the mephits can spawn more mephits. As we run around through the quest, we're going to have an option to go this direction. And there's a lot of little caves like this right here. these caves often have optionals in them. A lot of them have name loot in them, and some of them is actually not the worst name loot, depending on what you're looking for. Some of them are, I mean, not good, not worth worrying about. But some of it, if you don't have anything else, say like you're on the hardcore server, or you're playing a permadeath alt, or starting on a new server or something, some of these items are actually pretty strong for the level. I'm thinking specifically of the like healer's hat. Can't remember what it's called, but there's like a big devotion spell power hat. It's really good. And then if you have like a super high dexterity, there's if you don't have the wiggle room to take dexterity to hit, I believe there's a dagger that gives you the weapon finesse feat, or maybe it's a short sword, something. Swift demise, I think is what it's called. Fey touched wolf, huh? I wonder if the gave him good pets. Farm if at 1. Farm if at 2. First shrine, or yeah, first shrine. There's a second shrine hidden in one of the little caves, but it's a little bit later. Don't know where those dogs are going at all. And the most challenging path in assignment, I guess.
A fire giant has fortified 6 large crates dominate the camp ahead. They seem to emit a soft hum. One of the giant's lieutenants has fallen. You have slaughtered Ortador.
Set the chest on fire, set this chest on fire. And that should take care of the ones on either side of it. Guess not. I guess I didn't get that one.
The last of the mage fire cannon.
Alright, so this I believe is a treasure chest for loot. And then these round tipped ones are the shards that they're like quest shards. And there's a bunch of them that you need to pick up along the way. We'll probably go ahead and fiddle with using all the shards, but this build certainly does not need to do so. Show you a couple other tidbits here. I don't know how much inventory space we actually have. 35. That might be enough, although we'll be getting close. There's 50, right? Maybe I should have sold before coming in here. Alright, so there are supplies scattered throughout the quest. And they look like this. And apparently we need 12. So, there's an optional to just pick them up. So you can pick them up and throw them on the ground if you want. Or you can pick them up, carry them, and return them to the person who wants them. If you do both things, you'll get experience for both. If you could do one, like I said, you could just pick them up and throw them on the ground again. It doesn't. You don't have to turn them in if you don't want to. We'll see if we can make it happen. I don't know if they're heavy. 75 pounds a piece. Yeah, they're pretty heavy. Another shrine right there in the open. Another one of these lovely pillars to light. So there's just a lot to do, but nothing complicated. And the power of ranged combat, just crushing everything. No way those guys are immune to fire. This shouldn't have been. Alright, so this is where we want to go back to get to the end fight. But right now, if we go over there and click on this head, I'm pretty sure it's going to tell us there's nothing to do here. Yeah, see, we can't do anything until we light all of those runes and pick up all of the other nonsense items.
With a rude gesture, an armor-clad giant invites you to approach and meet your doom. Crates are stacked uncaringly.
Our doom!
Some bearing the seal of House beneath. One of the general's lieutenants has fallen. Inskadrir is slain.
Okay. Another situation where there's a couple of
You take up the shard of stone.
non-loot here. Again, these are very heavy. This is why a lot of people don't bring them back, because they are so heavy. If we become encumbered, we'll just throw away like plate mail or whatever. I'm not worried about it. We'll get the quest optionals done, so we can see the awesome experience we'll get with all of our ship buffs and master voice of the master and all that shenanigans on. Yeah, we're not looking to break any land speed records on any of these quests. We're just trying to get them done. I believe this one's locked. Ooh, +4 at the use tools. Couple more supply crates. Here's another one of those shrines that I was talking about, the one inside the little cave. More of that awesome power of being ranged. Should probably switch to the not fire setup here for these fire methods, but there's still so many. Yeah, we gotta kill that guy. We'll split the middle ground for a minute.
In the cavern, you disturb a muscular minotaur. Corvus snorts loudly and chokes on bubbling blood. He is slain.
We must have got that a demon soul method without paying attention, I guess. +4 Elven Chain. That's actually pretty good. It is made of mithril. It is named, so kind of give some, lose some. But level 6 mithril armor with a blue slot at level 6. I mean, come on. That's pretty good for a lot of people, especially like us, like armored wizards. Here's the other shrine I was talking about. Armored wizards, it's pretty good. 5% spell fail. You can take that blue slot out at level 8 and put in quite a few options in there, and have a pretty nice.
A dimensional gate looms in the back of the ruined area. Runes atop the hill.
You know what? Actually, let's switch to this. So yeah, we're going to have some extra fire damage that's going to get ignored, but we'll have this holy damage. Now things are going to spawn behind us. These are all black bones. But if we get everything spawned and we come back and stand behind the corner, then we just have to deal with stuff kind of as we expose ourselves. We didn't get everything spawned. There's one more wave of spawn. There's three waves of trash that spawn right here, and they do proc as you go up this mountain, so you can space them out a little bit. Like the next one will spawn like right about here. So imagine if you run up there without thinking about it. Just imagine how much trash is down here. Quite a bit, actually. But again, one of my favorite ways to kind of deal with it is I like to go ahead and charge up here, get everything woken up, and then fight behind these pillars. Then you really just have to deal with the spellcaster. And then you can creep out and pick up these guys. The reason that it's kind of important to go ahead and pick up the skeletons is that you still have to activate this rune. You still have to open that chest over here.
With the elemental ward removed, the dimensional gate disappears with a near silent pop. You take up the shard of stone.
Alright, so that's the other shard that we need to pick up from this area. Now we just get a treasure chest. Clean up the nonsense the best we can. And we got 2 more to go, I think. 2 more shards. Maybe just 1 more shard. And we have 3 more supply chests to pick up. Wife came in to say goodnight, so we'll pop over there, tuck her in when we finish this run up here. But here's another supply crate. There should be one, I believe, over here.
One of the general's lieutenants has fallen. Minotaur Lord Helos is no more.
No, I don't see it. So I'm missing one of the pilfered supplies. I wonder where I left it at.
All of the rune posts have been activated. Return to the summoning circle behind the outpost. You take up the shard of stone.
Picked up the other shard. Another treasure chest. Now, if we go back the way we already know and we've cleared on the way to the head, we're gonna miss it. So if we come around, oh, there they are. There's two here. I thought there's just one here, but if we come around the way that we haven't explored, we'll come across the missing supplies.
The last of the
So there's 1,000 experience for picking these things up.
Return them to Corporal Dalvasca.
And again, if you're having weight issues, you can just throw them all in the trash. If you decide you want to get that 1,000 experience, it didn't add that much to the quest, in my opinion. Enough that I normally wouldn't bother with it, but still, you're talking like maybe a minute to the quest. Unlike some of the other ones that are 3 or 4 minutes for 1,000 experience points that I do for whatever reason. It's because I like them. That's why. Alright, so now we've clicked all the things.
From your body
we can
flows into the
go in here and say hi to this guy.
shiver as magic gathers in the still air.
I have a few helpers that we'll try to knock out from, again, about as far away as we can.
The giant in the center
Alright,
of this room.
this giant has a series of buffs applied to him from each of these elemental chambers. Okay? So if we go over here to this cold chamber, because we have the whichever gym, I don't know which one in particular, but we have one of the gyms, and we kill all these methods, like he'll lose his heavily resistance to cold or whatever. If we come over here, knock out these air methods, similar type situation. Most of the time I would not bother with this kind of stuff because I just shoot him and he'd go down with the secondary damages. See, like his first numbers, if you look, are 0. And that's because of this here. Earth Elemental, he's got caged. And now he'll take damage from our shots. And then we can go over here by the fire. These fire methods. And I believe that reduces his fire spell power. Maybe, or his fire damage gets reduced. Something different happens. He doesn't just like become vulnerable to fire out of nowhere. But again, normally I would just come in here and shoot him. Your first big number will go down, but the other numbers will be fine. All right, and now you could just run back. In this case, I have the D-Door spell, so I'm going to D-Door back. It'll be a little bit quicker. Not a lot quicker, but a little bit quicker. And we'll cast Jahaste. And now we're running back to that temple area. We ran through to get to the start of the quest. I think you might, if you had like a wing or a leap or something, you could probably jump up there. They have not been selling the mistletoes for a while. As a limited edition Christmas item that gives you a monk-like leap through the air for about 10 DDO points. Right. So this time, instead of going through this door, we're going to go over here. Again, there's all this. There's there's all sorts of mobs out here in the wild that one could clean to try to get our number to do things. All right, this is the guy who finishes the quest. So we're gonna come over here and talk to this corporal. I believe we have to turn these in one at a time also. Just part of the reason, another reason why most people don't bother with this optional. It's because it involves a lot of clicking for no reason. But hey, if you have the strength to carry those around and the room in your backpack, you can get an extra 480 experience points for carrying them around. Some of these objectives just never get done, I feel. And then the, do I actually have to talk to this guy first? Maybe I have to talk to this guy. Alright, so now the gate is open. There'll be like, I don't know, a handful of waves of trash. Nothing overly dangerous.
Of fighting fades from the outpost.
Alright. And then I think that's basically it. There might be another optional out in the wilderness, but I'm not going to go hunt that down. And 20,000 experience for 25 minutes. Again, if we didn't stop and do the various optionals, it speeds up pretty significantly. But, yep, there's Stormcleave Outpost. So that's all 3 quests out here in the Anvilfire Inn. In House Beneath. They are all House D favor. I'm pretty sure. Guess we can double check that real quick. But before we, let's see this group by patron. Let's see. Maybe they're not. Let's see. Bounty Hunter is House Beneath. And then Stormcleave and yeah, here they go. Oh, this one's House Kandaric, the mine. So a little bit of House K favor there, and then some couple of quests for House D favor. And of course House D favor is pretty sweet if you have it. So there you go. That was the quest in, again, the Anvilfire Inn. I usually knock them out because, again, I like having access to House D favor. If you need a quiver or you need certain like material bolts, stuff like that, it's just handy to be able to access it, and it's a good way to get that favor pretty easily. Alright, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate it. If you didn't like the video, please hit the like button anyway. I'd really appreciate it as well. So, yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys very soon. Toodles.